All right, kicking it live in 3, 2, 1. And
I like to hear you live.
live.
I like to hear you're live. I sit here and I smile and I wait until Taylor over there goes, you're live, and then we're live. Hi, everybody. Jill Simonian from PragerU Kids and our prep membership group for educators and parents. It's Tuesday, March 22nd, and we got a lot to celebrate here in Los Angeles County, particularly the parents of Los Angeles Unified School District. Who's with me today?
Amala. Hello.
Yes.
Hi, guys.
She's wearing a beautiful dress, you guys. We can have a human moment, and I can say spring is here. The weather outside is beautiful.
It is.
It is. Yes. And Los Angeles Unified this week is finally, after months and months and frankly a year too late, catching up with the rest of the country saying, oh, it's okay. We are lifting mandates for children and staff, and wearing a mask is now your choice in school. Tons of people are celebrating. I'm celebrating too. However, there's something very, very wrong with this because it's too late.
It is. 2 years too late.
And where has everyone been? Where has everyone been?
I don't know. Being complacent. I think.
And caving in to unions, caving in to things that don't make sense. But I got to tell you, the upside for this is that parental rights have been, I want to say, reinvigorated, I think, or maybe just invigorated. Parents have now started realizing what it means to overreach past our parental rights that do not stop at the classroom door. And are we able to show a quick clip of the Parents' March that we went to? I want to share something with you guys. This was something that through all of this overreach in education, the one shining light as a mom is that we have been awakened as parents to understand what our rights are for our kids in education. And that includes, stepping up and speaking against unjust mandates that don't make sense. And a couple weeks ago, I went to a parental rights march against mandates in Hollywood. And I just want to see a glimpse. You can fast forward through my opening. I just want people to see a glimpse of how many parents are waking up in Hollywood, California, by the way. Because this is big news. We're having trouble playing it, but this is big news here in Southern California. I know most of the country is well beyond the mandates in school, but in California, we were still struggling with it, and parents were still struggling with it. Let me see. Are we able to play? Oh, we're able to play. There we go. Heavy music. Okay, so there is a great group here today. Parents standing up for family rights, parents' rights, anti-mandates. Why are you here?
I'm really for my kids. They can't advocate for themselves, and I have to advocate for them.
The biggest problem in our education system is that parents don't have a right. They don't have a seat at the table. Parents' voices need to be heard because, after all, it's their children in the education system.
Right there, seat at the table.
Yep. What every parent deserves when it comes to their kids' education.
Seat at the table. Now, does that resonate with you? Do you get what we mean when we say that?
Oh, absolutely. It's like you guys have been muzzled this entire time with major decisions being made in regard to your children.
Mm-hmm. I want to know if there's anyone watching, parents, teachers, anyone in the LA area who has a comment about this, any feelings, thoughts about what's been going on in LAUSD. But the big takeaway is now parents, all of us are realizing that we do, in fact, have a seat at the table. And it is our fundamental right to be able to raise our children in partnership with our schools, not being bullied by the schools and the unions and being told this is what's right for your child, we're going to handle this. But we do, in fact, we must, it's our obligation and responsibility as parents to assert our seat at the table going forward. And one thing that I do want to share, which was so encouraging the past few weeks, one of the headlines I saw was that Arizona's Senate has passed an education transparency bill, which I know, right? Whoop, whoop. There we go. I want to hear it again. Whoop, whoop. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So I mean, what it does is it gives parents rights to be able to see what's being taught in schools. Schools, on the other hand, will be able to see what teachers are doing right and wrong. And this is merely a matter of, this doesn't mean that there's a lot of, I'm going to use that word, misinformation, that I admittedly hate right now. There's a lot of misinformation saying that parents want to dictate what our kids are being taught. I myself will clarify that personally and say, yes, I do want a seat at the table. Yes, I want a part in what my children are being taught to make sure that it does, in fact, not overreach into my family values. But I also want to see what the schools are being taught, because, Amala, did you know that right now, parents in many states, California included, we're not allowed to see what's being taught?
I didn't know that until I saw all of this curriculum transparency, all these bills start being passed. I thought, how in the hell were parents not being able to look at these curriculums?
We're not. And it's a huge deal. I mean, you many times you have to go so far as to file a Freedom of Information Act to be able to see what's being put into our schools through the curriculum. A lot of times if you go to the district and say, I want to see what my child is being taught for like the 3rd grade standards or the 4th grade standards, they require that you sit in the district office and physically look at the material, and they prohibit you from taking pictures of it. I mean, it's really, and I didn't know this either. So the shining light in all of these mandates and all of this stuff that's been happening that parents in that rally were pushing up against, the shining light is that we now know that we can access a seat at the table, but we have to take it. No one's going to give it to us. We have to take it. We have to assert it. We have to be proactive. So that's the good news. Are there any comments? Any comments at all?
Teachers think they are their kids. They even call them their kids. Newsflash, they're not your kids. They're just your students, and the parents pay your salaries. You work for us.
That's true. That's true. And I gotta say, who said that comment?
This was, Betty White. I don't know
Betty
if that's
White.
actually your name.
Hey, I love it. Whether it's your real name or fake name, it doesn't matter. I love the name Betty White. So Betty, I'm going to tell you, I fully agree. And I never thought in those terms of, oh, my school is funded by my tax-paying dollars. And I used to kind of think it was actually very, what do I want to say, like egotistical or entitled. I used to be scared, like, oh, I don't want to be entitled, thinking that I pay. No, but that is the fact. Mm-hmm. We do pay our taxes, pay the salaries of teachers and educators, and we should be working in partnership with them.
Yes.
And when that partnership is violated with overreaching mandates, decisions from teachers that don't align with parental thoughts or values or action, it is a violation.
Absolutely.
It's a violation. And now at least we can recognize that.
I've got one other comment here from KJ Hernandez. Says, I'm happy that our voices were heard. I am a parent of 2 LAUSD students. Coercion existed. We need to continue this fight because smaller children are still required to use the mask.
Yes. They're right. He's right about that. He's right about that. They are still requiring masks for the preschoolers and the early learners, early learning education centers, which is so disappointing. And so it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. I want to talk about, what all the things that they're trying to teach our kids. And I hate using that word they. The things that many educational institutions are trying to teach our children is to not be able to think critically, to now be scared, to comply against all reason and science and diversity of discussion and thought. And that's not what our country is founded on. And that is the why. That is the big why, the main why.
Right.
PragerU Kids started. Mm-hmm. And for all of you watching, if we have children's programming, PragerU Kids, prageru.com/kids, that has educational, entertaining shows, videos, magazines for kids kindergarten through 12th grade that really are focused on our American values of freedom, equality under God, hard work, responsibility, liberty. E pluribus unum. Ooh, what does e pluribus unum mean? Pop quiz. Yes!
I was ready for that.
Amala knows all the right answers. But look at what we have. Have you seen this? This is our latest from PragerU Kids. And I guarantee this is not, unfortunately, to my dismay and disappointment and sadness, I guarantee that this is not in any LA unified schools, because our Otto's Tales new book, The American Trinity, available on Amazon now, focuses on liberty, e pluribus unum, in God we trust, our 3 American mottos, which Dennis Prager coined, the American Trinity. But those are the values that every American child should be so lucky to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're not, unfortunately.
And they're not. They're not. And this book, here, let's show some of the illustrations. It takes us to Ellis Island. It takes us to the Statue of Liberty. It takes us to Valley Forge when President Washington, before he was president, the legend was that he said a prayer at Valley Forge to help the Revolutionary Army win the war. This is the story of America. And these are the values, liberty and God we trust and e pluribus unum, that young kids are not learning. So the book is available now, but I have a better surprise, even better than the book. Let's show a clip.
Yes.
Okay.
Here we go.
Toes. Then in the distance, we saw a big, crowded ship.
Whose voice?
I grabbed Dennis's hand and gave it a good grip.
Look at that cute
The large
man.
ferry was
Who
full
is
of
that
people.
cute man?
That is
With
Dennis Prager.
It's Dennis Prager. You guys, I gotta tell you, this was the most special Otto's Tales story time. Dennis Prager himself reads his American Trinity concept story to our youngest learners on the story time. Dennis was absolutely adorable. I hope that doesn't sound strange for me to say, but for kids to be able to learn from one of America's greatest thinkers and communicators and just the proponents of freedom and critical thought, it is such a special Otto's Tales story time and book that we have for you. And it's for kindergarten through 2nd graders. But guess what? My 4th and 5th grade daughters love these books and story times as well. So if you have not picked up the book, pick up the book. Do we have any other comments? Any final thoughts from Amala regarding the madness of woke education in our schools today?
I will say all of this comes with a great silver lining. It seems like we're on the up and up on this. What I'm sad about is the lack of accountability for what's happened for the past 2 years. So hopefully we see something happen there, although I'm not super optimistic about that, especially in the state of California. But it seems like right now people are deviating from what has been this proposed narrative to them anymore. And they're saying, you know, this has been crazy. I'm over it. I'm not going to lead this life anymore. And even people who are on the left and liberal. So I'm happy to see that that's happening.
Yeah. Well said, to say the least. And that what you said about accountability is absolutely true.